Welcome back, everyone, to rounds 2 and 3 of the Reykjavik Open here in Reykjavik, Iceland. I apologize if the lighting's a bit weird, by the way. I'm out on the balcony right now, so the lighting's a bit weird. If it is, bear with me. In the first round today, because it was a double round, I am playing against Thibaut Fontenot from France, International Master. And I did some preparation. Parents came out before the game. And I decided to play e4, c5, knight after e6, and play the c3 system against this. This is the Alpin, but it's better against e6 because in some lines, black's already committed to this, and it limits them in some way. So we played knight f6 after like 4 minutes of thought. I played d5, knight to d5, and then d4. This is fun. Takes, and then he played b6, which I did actually remember, but my preparation against this had been playing this very, very rare move h4, and I actually forgot that. So I thought for like 3 minutes before playing knight c3, because I didn't fully remember. Because I was going to play bishop c4, but then I realized, wait, bishop c4, he has bishop a6, which is what he was going to do, trading off the bishop, and black is actually fine there. So I played knight c3, takes, and here he played bishop b7, which is actually an inaccuracy. I played bishop to d3, he played d6, I castled, knight to d7, and here I'm actually already almost winning, because I have the move knight to g5, which is incredibly strong. And the point is, I just thought he played bishop to e7. Turns out I missed this idea, which is an extremely strong move. And after takes, queen h5, g6, I go bishop takes g6, and I'm just getting in here. hg, I don't take the rook, which is what you might do. I take the pawn, bishop h6, and I have 3 pieces. My opponent has 3 pieces for a rook, but I have at minimum a draw. And I can try and look for more if I see, like, I have anything. But I had that, but I went queen e2, he went queen c7, and again I have knight g5. It's not as strong here, but there are sacrifices. But I just decided to play bishop to f4, bishop to e7, rook ac1, and rook fe1. I'm like, okay, this is a solid setup. I'm fine with this. So he takes my knight, I take, and then he takes here. And for some reason, in this position, I thought that taking with the d-pawn was actually not a good move, because I thought giving him the c5 score was not very good, so I took with the bishop, because I thought, oh, we go into an obstacle, the bishop endgame, I still have a good structure, this is fine. Little did I know, I would be suffering very, very much in this game. So we just played g6, because if he plays bishop d6, my idea had been to actually sack the bishop, and it's interesting, it's dynamically equal after, like, rook h5 or something, and I'm putting the pieces on the h file like queen h3, and I have some chances there, but it's probably just equal. So g6, I brought my rook back, and then he played rook d8, and yeah, I didn't realize how uncomfortable this would be. I thought this would just be like equality. Rook d5, and I'm very, very passive. So I went rook c2, rook to d8, queen e2 back, bishop f8. We're just kind of shuffling at this point. I'm just saying, like, yo, you want to do something? Try and do something now. So I went bishop to e4. Rook to a5, I'm just gonna keep waiting. Rook d1, bishop g7, h4, rook a3, rook to d3, and then all this is fine. I'm still slightly worse, but I do have some defense. I played h5, queen c4. Here I played queen d2 just to get out of the way. Rook to a5, takes, rook f3. So far we've just been shuffling. Now I'm trying to create some kind of play against this f7 pawn. Here he played the move rook h5, which I did expect. And my plan here was originally to play queen f4, but I realized that I thought he had e5, which I thought was very, very annoying. Turns out it's not e5. e5 is actually equal, because I can play this move, which I didn't really see. And then if he goes queen d5, I can take on e5, and apparently this is fine. But it's actually f5 that's good for him. And then after bishop to d3, he goes queen c6, and I'm just tangled up. Like, bishop d6, and this is very, very bad. I'm probably going to lose because my rook is pinned. So yeah, that would have been really bad. So I decided to just trade queens. And I thought this endgame is going to be uncomfortable, but I should hold it. And then he played rook a5. And then here I played a really dumb move. Here I was thinking, down to, I have about 20 minutes. He has about 10, to make 9 moves. I should just sit with rook d1 and, like, chill, and, like, there's no way black can make progress. It's, like, scary, but I can just defend. But I played d5 because I realized that there's a few different things. First of all, okay, if he takes, I go here, and this is just a draw. because I'm going to take the pawn. We're going to trade all the rooks, and we're just going to be a drawn endgame. And I also saw f5. I can actually just take on e6 because you can't take my bishop because the rook hangs, and if it takes, I save the bishop. That's all good. But he played e5, and I actually expected this, and I thought, well, I can just go g4. I saw f5, and this is very good. It turns out this is actually horrendous for me, and I'm almost losing. Rook d6, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna play c4. c4 is not a good move. Here I should go like rook h3 or something, and I have to try and be active, but I played c4. Rook f6, and then here again, the computer wants rook h3 for me to be able to try and stay alive. But yeah, like I thought rook f4, but apparently I go f3, and I try to bring some pieces over here. And this is the plan I should have gone for. But g5, was what I played in the game. Rook f4 and f3. I'm like, okay, I'm going to defend everything. I'm going to try to hold this. He played bishop d6, which is what I expected. And I'm getting really low on time, and this is the moment where I almost, where I started panicking here. Because I realized the position is not very good. I have 8 minutes on the clock, and I thought down to 2 minutes to make 4 moves. c5 is the best move, apparently. I thought he just took with the bishop, or take with the bishop, but apparently here I can just move the king, and sacking this pawn is good. I need to sack a pawn to try and get activity somehow. But I played rook dd2, because I didn't know what to do. He played rook h4, I just traded the rook. Take. Okay, we're in this position now. Black is still better, but it's still hard to find a win. So king f8, we both bring our kings. Rook to a3, rook e2. I'm just trying to defend, rook c3, rook c2, and then this is the critical moment in the game. He's trying to come down, I played king g3, bishop c5, and then here I played rook h2. Now, I am actually completely losing, not completely, but I'm going to lose the game if my opponent plays the move a5. Just some waiting move, because you'll see why. I'll explain why later, why a5 is the best move, but if he just plays a slow move in the position, I'm just going to lose because I don't have any moves. I have no way to stop him from coming in, and this is just bad for me. I am likely going to lose. But he rushed. He played bishop to e3, which I thought was his idea. And he thought it was his idea too. But he allowed rook h7. And this is a bit too slow, because now I'm going to have counterplay on the 7th rank, which is why he needed to play a5, because I have no moves. He needs to make moves, just saving his pawns and safeguarding everything. So he gave me a check. King h2 takes my pawn. But now I have d6, sacrificing the pawn to gain activity, and this is why it's so important. The a pawn is a weakness. After takes and takes, I'm doing very well because this a pawn is under attack. So he played a5, or he played bishop f4 check, king h1, and a5, just getting rid of saving the pawn. But now I have rook f6, and I'm going to try and win one of the pawns here. And if we trade rooks, it's likely going to be a draw because up a pawn in a straight obstacle bishop endgame is usually not enough to win. So king c5, I gave him this check, which is very important, and I take this pawn because I don't want him to be able to have these these pass pawns over on the queen side. So he gave me a check, king g1, and actually goes down with rook h2. And now you have to be very careful here because if I just take on g6 and I'm lazy, he can maybe play rook takes a2, and it's actually kind of hard to hold this now. Black has real chances, so I have to be careful. But I played a4. And my idea after a4 is when he plays rook a2, I apologize for the lag, I have rook d6. And this is the plan. Because he can't take my pawn because there's bishop d5, and he can play king c5, and we're just going to trade rooks, but that's a draw. Because there's no way to make a pass pawn. So, and after king c5, I just have this check. Because if king b4, I can actually give this check. And you can't take my pawn, I have bishop c6, and this is just going to be a draw. So, he took my pawn, I took his. King b4, rook a6, and the game ends. Check, check, here, and I claim 3-fold, and it's a draw. Because I'm going to go king g1 next. So, the first game was very, very nerve-wracking. I was losing, but he got a little bit impatient there. And I did manage to save a draw from the jaws of defeat there. But I did have like an advantage in the opening, and I'll remember this knight g5 idea in case I play this again. And then there was a second round of the day, where I'm playing Vladislav Larkin. Ukrainian I am, rated 2449, and I got a double white, so I was very happy. Now, I saw he actually played the same exact thing as my other opponent, so I was like, okay, I'm going to play the same Alpin thing to gain some more experience. E4, and he plays this. I'm like, okay. He clearly wants to try and avoid any kind of Alpin prep, because he only plays Sicilian ever. He never played d6 ever, at least from the games I've done. So I played d4, knight f6, knight c3, and he played the move order with c6. This is not good, and I should be playing f4, but I didn't actually know what to do, because the only systems that I play against this Pierce kind of thing is systems where I take his pawn on e5 when he plays it, and playing really solidly. So I played a4 because this is what I know. I'm trying to control b5 and play knight f3 and play solidly. This is the only thing I know. He played queen a5, I played bishop to d2, e5, knight f3, queen c7, and then here I take, because it is steering it towards a little bit of a drier game, but it's the only kind of thing I know, because, like, bishop c4, yes, but I was scared of, like, I've lost games online, and I didn't know if this worked. I don't think it does, but I've lost games online to stuff like this, and I don't think it works here, but there are times when this works, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to enter something that I'm not comfortable with, so I decided to play d takes e5. So it takes, bishop c4, he plays bishop b4, castle, castle, queen e2, just to defend b4. Here he played bishop g4, which is what I expected. h3. Now I actually thought he would drop back in this position, and then I would have decided if I wanted to go g4, because g4 was one of my ideas here. And then actually knight h4. There's a cool line here where if he takes my knight, I don't know if the engine approves of this. Takes, take. I'm down a pawn now, but I have this nice move, 96. At least that's what I thought. I have 96 because I attack the queen. And if he takes, then I take the pawn and then take the bishop. And yeah, the engine actually does like this for me. Oh, g5 is stronger here, yeah. But 96 is what I saw from a distance, like 7 moves prior. So that's what I had planned, but he took the knight. I'm like, okay, I take back. I have the bishop here. And then he played knight d7. And then I realized that this is actually very bad, because I thought he was going to just take my knight and like play knight c5 and just get this really nice attack on my e-pawn. This is what I thought. And I was suddenly starting to like worry, wait, did I mess this up? Am I like worse here? But then I started to realize in this position that I have knight b1, which is what I played. And I thought it was my only move. Now, if he takes and plays a5, like takes, a5, it's about equal. I didn't really know what how to evaluate this. I was going to bring my rooks and, you know, that would be that. But he played a5, and I'm like, okay, I'll play c3. If I don't have to trade the bishop, I won't. Bishop e7, and then I play bishop g5. Trying to pin this knight and put pressure. And then he played knight c5, and this is probably the only point in the game where I could have tried to play for a win. Is I could have maybe played knight d2. Just try to keep pieces on the board, maybe bring a rook here, and I can like try and keep the game going. I decided to just take the knight, because I didn't think there was anything else. I thought, okay, if I remove this knight, there's no chance I can lose. And I thought I was going to be under pressure if I did anything other than... Whoa, sorry. That's a bit of a spoiler there. If I did anything other than that. So knight d2, rook d8, queen e3, although you could probably tell the result based on how the game is going. So, but there's a lot more left to see. So rook to d6, I played knight b3, trying to trade, takes. By the way, I can't really take the knight here. I mean, it's fine, because then he just takes this, and it's not very good. So I played knight b3, trade, and then I just brought some rooks. We trade some rooks. I offered a draw at some point around here, but he declined here because I thought it was just over, but he played bishop c1, and I'm like, wait, this is actually taking a bit more work. So queen e2, queen here, I played queen c2. I think queen c2 is actually a horrible mistake. I thought just trading queens, which is an auto draw, which is what he did, but it's actually kind of uncomfortable. I played bishop d1, which is probably not what I should be doing. I should be playing bishop c4, and after bishop c1 playing b4, and playing more actively, but I decided, okay, I thought, okay, I'll just put all my pawns on light squares and I can't lose. Well, actually, this position is actually not so easy for white to hold. After king f6, king f3, bishop g4 is the way I can draw, apparently. King e7, bishop c8, I thought bishop c8, I thought b6, but apparently I can just bring my king here, and my bishop being in his territory is actually pretty good for me. But king f3, king e6, king e2, bishop d4, and this is where it starts to get uncomfortable, because my original plan was to play f3 and put all my pawns on light squares, but then I realized he just walks over here, and like, it's very, very hard to defend all the pawns, and he's gonna get in somehow if I do that. So I played f4, which I thought was a good move. And this is actually probably the chance where he could have gotten the biggest advantage all game. In this position, he can play the move king to d6, which is minus 0.5. And I probably still would have drawn. I was going to play this. But he actually now has bishop f2. And my plan here was to play f5, takes, and takes, which is a draw, but this probably gives him the best chances here to try and play for a win. I'm down a pawn, but like obstacle to bishop endgames are usually draws down a pawn, and I knew that, so that's why I was going to go for that. But he played h5, which makes it really simple for me because I can just go here. And after king d6, play f5, which is nice. Because after this, takes, king d3. All I have to do is to make sure his king doesn't get in. g4 takes 6. Bishop e1, we do a bit of shuffling. Sorry, I apologize for the lag. All I have to do here is make sure that the king cannot get in anywhere. King b4, I always have king c2. Shuffling here, bishop h3, bishop g3. He was just playing on out of inertia, but b6, but there's nothing here. Let's just show the end of the game. Bishop g2, king e7, king e2. We're just shuffling, and in this position, yep, he offered a draw, and I accepted. So those were the 2 games today. Hopefully you enjoyed. I think, yeah, tomorrow there's only 1 game, round 4. I should be playing up again on DGT. I'll post a link of the tournament in the description if you guys want to see the games there, like maybe the games live if I'm on the broadcast board. I was for these 2 rounds. And I probably will be playing up, although I don't know. So stay tuned for the recap of round 4 tomorrow. And I will see you guys in the next recap. Bye, everyone.